Well, hello there, everybody, and this is Auntie. And today we have a treat. We have an exclusive interview with one of the cast members from 60 Days In, season 9. Tonight, we're going to be dishing all of the dirt with all girls Scarlet. Oh my God, I'm so excited. Let's get into it, y'all, shall we? Oh, yes, we shall.
Everybody needs a sweet old auntie. Everybody needs
with a whoop whoop and a boop boop.
auntie that everybody needs.
You can make this up.
Now you know that these are some crazy motherfuckers.
Everybody needs a sweet old auntie.
So why
even fuckers? Aunties and lives, sweet old auntie. Aunties and ways. Are you okay? Are you okay?
Well, welcome, Scarlett.
How are you, honey?
I am doing fantastic. You are so beautiful.
Oh, thank you. I clean up nice, right? I clean up nice. This is the non-jail Scarlet.
But you look fantastic, especially in your
Thank
pictures.
you.
We're going to talk a little bit about that. Welcome, Auntie's
Thank you.
Advice. And you know
Thank you
what?
for having me.
Is on making it as a cast member on 60 Days In season 9.
Yeah, it's a surreal experience. Completely surreal.
I am.
Like, it's the weirdest thing seeing my face on TV. Even my kids are like, my mom's face is on TV now. Yeah.
So is this your first TV? Is this your first TV appearance ever?
Yeah. Well, I did win a dance contest when I was a freshman in high school that made it on my local TV channel. So I was on there for like 2 minutes. But yeah, this is my first experience being on TV, going through this process. Yeah.
Okay, great. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh my gosh, that's a hard question. Well, so unbeknownst to most people because of my social media, but I have 3 degrees. So I have 2 bachelors, one in forensics and psychology, one in math, my master's degree in crime analysis. So I actually graduated with distinction as well. So I've actually spent 20 years in criminal justice, human services. I've worked in patient mental health. I've been trained by the FBI in crisis negotiation. I've worked probation. I've done forensic investigations. Yeah. So, I'm kind of like, don't read a book by its cover, right? Like people really, and, the modeling thing was fun. I used the modeling thing. We can get more into that. But I started doing that about 2008 when I was 28 years old. And I just kind of continue to do it because it's just something that's fun to do. And, when I'm 80 and I look back and be like, that's right, I could have rocked a bikini there. But yeah, so I have, my husband and I are combined family. So we have 6 kids. Our oldest is 25. Our youngest is 11, 5 boys and 1 girl.
Wow.
Yeah, she's never going to date. It's fine. Yeah, I'm good with that. And so I am in the midst of chaos because on Monday, I am going to be moving to Hawaii for a new job opportunity.
You mentioned that. That's fantastic.
I'm so excited.
So thank you so much for taking the time because I know you're in the middle of a move. And it's not like you're moving around the country. You're going to Hawaii.
Yeah,
so,
airplane only. Yeah,
that's going to be fantastic. So let me ask you a question. How many tattoos do you have?
So I have actually lost count now. I do percentages. So I say that I have about 40% of my body is covered in tattoos. Yeah. So obviously face, chest, stomach, some of my stomach, and legs aren't tattooed yet. And probably won't. I actually just got a tattoo yesterday, and I think it's my last one. But we'll see.
Oh, really?
In Hawaii, yeah. I've been getting tattoos since I was 16.
Where'd you place that one? Where'd you place that tattoo?
It's on my foot. It's just the only space I have left.
Did you not tattoo the other like your face and all of that because of your profession?
Well, I feel like there's a very fine line, especially for women being tattooed. I know it's a lot more mainstream. A lot of women have tattoos, but classy to trashy, right? Like we want to have beautiful art on our bodies, but we also want to maintain that sense of like it being beautiful art versus something else. So I feel like right now I have a really good balance. And because of my profession and because I'm a mom and, you got to go to schools and stuff, I can hide all of my tattoos in my business wear. So it kind of really works out for me. It's funny. There was one point where I went and got a massage and I go in my normal business wear, button down shirt and slacks. And then I, get ready for the massage. The guy comes in to give me a massage and he's like, holy crap, I'm so excited. Because I thought you were this cheerleader, and now you're like a biker babe.
Like, what the heck? But let me tell you, your pictures are phenomenal.
Thank you. I know my angles, right?
Yes, you do. But one thing, I was trying to look for a picture for you. And one thing that I probably need to mail to you in Hawaii is a tripod, because it was so hard to get like a really good picture because you're like this.
Yes, a lot.
So I'm going to probably be sending you a tripod to
all right, then I'll be an expert.
Yeah, and then you'll be an expert, because I was like, oh my God, these pictures are phenomenal, but that camera's in the way. But
it's funny. That's kind of a niche. Like people like to see mirror selfies. So I'm kind of the mirror selfie queen. Because then they're unedited. They're just in your random days. Yeah. So people are just like, they got a thing for that and my feet.
You're right. So you're a mom. You have all these degrees. You're a model, and you decide to go on 60 days in. And for those who have not been here, 60 days in is an experiment where they send regular, ordinary people into a prison for 60 days. In the what they want to do is find out what is going on in the prison, and they're not able to get that just from deputies and COs, and so they bring them in. They give them a pseudo name, personality. Well, you can't change personalities,
but this is all authentic.
and so interesting. I've been hooked on it. I didn't start reviewing it, I think, until last year or even the year before last. I started finally saying, you know what I can do. That was really dominated by men at the time when I was watching it. But I was like, hey, I'm getting out here and I'm doing it too. So I have some questions I want to ask you.
Yeah.
And one of those questions is, other than wanting street cred, was there any other reason or any other motivating factor that made you want to go 60 days in?
Yeah, so obviously working in criminal justice, I really did want to help the jail. I felt like because of my background and my analytical nature and my ability to be able to pull information from people, especially interviews, like that forensic interviewing, like you got to pull information from people that they necessarily don't want to share with you. So you get those skill sets. So I thought I'd be a really great asset just to be able to help the jail in general. Like if they really want to improve, let me help them. But also because I'm a civilian working in the military, process. So I actually train and teach sailors how to be more resilient, how to be mission ready, how to stay mentally well, so that when they go out to war or they go out to deployment, when they come back, they're still present and healthy for their families. And this is so important for me, and it's really become my passion. And, one of the hiccups is like, well, you've never been active duty. You don't know what it's like. And you're right. I don't. I've never been on deployment. I've never been particularly in a war zone. I've been in high-risk professions and high-risk jobs. I'm going out to homes of, alleged murderers and stuff in probation. But so this gave me an opportunity to assimilate as close to deployment as I possibly could, in the instance that you're isolated from your family. You are limited with lack of control of your schedule, your timeline. You have limited personal effects. You can't just call somebody when you want to. You can't, if there's an emergency, you can't just leave and deal with it. So
Right.
this gave me the opportunity to be as close to the scenarios that they're experiencing that are causing that acute traumatic events, so that I can say, I can't exactly understand, but I can give you a scenario that's similar. And this is what I experienced. And it makes me better at my job, because now I can say, I understand my trauma response when I got out, when I was in the things I experienced. And I feel like it's pretty similar to what we can experience when we have those same situations. So that's primarily my focus.
Okay. And so I'm hoping that you'll be able to come back and tell us at the end of the show whether or not you got that cred that you wanted to get from going 60 days in, because let me tell you, it's just something I know I couldn't do. So you got cred from me. Okay.
Thanks, honey. Just making it through intake, right? Just making it through intake was good.
Yes. So I wanted to ask you, when you met your cast members, when you all came in, Daniel, Quill, Fabian, AB, Nina, Corey, who else is there? Did I name it? I think I got everybody.
You got them all. Yeah, you did.
Did you size them up?
Oh, you know it.
Just by sight. Okay, so I'm gonna say this. Just by sight. Who did you believe or assess just by sight?
Just by sight.
How?
Okay, so I will tell you that during the process, my initial face value as they're walking in the room, assessment of who was going to tap or not, was different than after spending some hours with them.
Oh,
so,
really? Oh, really?
Yeah.
How so?
Well, just like I say, don't judge a book by its cover, right? Everybody's, especially when they first come out, they're like, oh, the lingerie model who knows how to take a punch.
Right, because by sight, I'm looking and saying Nina is not going to last 30 minutes. But, so that's what I was saying, just by sight. But go ahead.
Yeah, so, and because of my profession, I really don't judge people by how they look, right? Because you see people in their worst, you see people in their best. Like, people know how to manipulate situations and play a part, right? So I can't say that I was like jumping to conclusions right away. But by the end of the day, after we had, done trainings and had communicated with each other, I had my guesses. I was like, I think these two are probably not going to make it.
Do you want to share? Do you want to share?
I feel like I can share. I feel like I can share because, that was my initial. And honestly, how this season is going to go, we haven't even seen anything besides what you guys have seen. But I'm already been shocked by processes. So I don't even know at the end. But so my initial response when I first met everybody, I was like Fabian and Corey. That's who I said. So which I think is unexpected. That I said, if anybody's going to go, because we're one team, one mission, and no tap outs, but if anybody was going to go, those were my guesses walking in.
Really?
Yeah. So, as we go watch this show all the way to the end, you guys are going to find out if I actually know my job and I know what I'm doing, because I can be completely wrong.
Because, I made a prediction that Corey was going to go all the way. Right? Okay. That was my prediction, that Corey was going to go all the way. I predicted that Nina wouldn't last. I predicted that AB would stay. Fabian, I think Fabian, I thought that he was going to tap out. Daniel's going to have to get pulled out. Okay. And especially after seeing this episode with his back and his hips and him not, he's making too many damn mistakes, right? He wrote his real name down. Like, what is going on with Daniel? Oh,
yeah, these couple of episodes have been pretty intense. Like, obviously, we're in the women's pod. We don't know how the guys are doing. Like, we have no idea. So I'm watching it like, Daniel, you know better, man. Come on.
Yeah, and I predicted that you're going to last. I predicted that you're going to last the whole thing. Now, we'll see. Okay. We'll see. Okay.
We'll see, yeah.
Were you surprised? Okay, I was. That the other women didn't go first?
Honestly, I wasn't really surprised. Because I mentally prepared myself. I did a lot of work to get ready for this show.
I'm going to ask you.
Yeah. So I think going in, like, I was ready. I was like, let's do this. Let's go. My life's in order, and like, as you talk, you're like, yeah, well, I still got stuff, things I could work on, things I could do. Like, I'm not like, if I don't have to jump in, I don't need to jump in. But, um, I wasn't too surprised that they probably still had some loose ends just because I am super analytical and prepared.
Okay.
I write notes for notes. So, I mean,
So
we
you're
all were kind of like,
I'm very
yeah,
analytical. Very.
yeah, and very prepared. I mean, I worked for the military, and I mean, you got to be ready to go, or you're like 15 minutes earlier, you're late, right? So I think they were probably more ready, but that last minute when you're just like, oh my God, did I forget to turn off the stove? Right? It's like that moment of you're just like, okay, am I really ready? Is there anything else that I'm needed for? Because when you go in, it's radio silence. You can't call home. You can't connect. You can't do anything until you get money on your books. So yeah,
So
but
so how intimidating were the sheriffs? Because even though they are so handsome, oh my God, they seem really intimidating. And I also want you to answer after that, I don't know if you can talk about it, but how many days after that did you actually have to go in? Once you decided I'm going in first, how many days did you get? And is the sheriffs are they as intimidating as they look?
honestly, the sheriffs, all of them are so nice. And I mean, they are. When they walk in, they're they mean business. But
They have a
that's what
practice.
yeah, that's a respect thing. Like I respect where they're at and I respect their stance. So like I was on board. I was like, these guys know what they're doing. They know our expectations. Like I trust them to do the job they need to do, which makes me feel safer. So I didn't find them intimidating at all. But I'm around military people in uniform all the time. So I just get to enjoy the eye candy.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah,
We're
they're
not even
nice. Yeah.
talking about the candy. So how many days after that did you have to actually go in?
Well, obviously there's production processes and, you're doing your interviews and stuff, like, your pre-interview and all that. But they move you pretty quickly. After you're decided, like, it's pretty fast moving. I can't remember exactly the date, the timeline, but it wasn't like the next day. But yeah, we moved pretty quickly after that was decided.
Okay, so you drive,
Yeah.
production picks you up, they drop you off at this pickup stop. The sheriffs are standing out there. You get out. Did you ever think, what the hell am I doing here?
It's really weird, but I never thought that. I probably should have, and that's maybe why people need to. Maybe I need another psyche valve, but no, like I was just like, I was so ready to do this. And, you know, I mean, getting shackled, that was interesting. Yeah, honestly, I didn't have any
Feel
doubt.
real, Scarlett? Did that make it feel real when you actually had to put your hand behind your back, your head, and got
Yeah.
shackled and got in? Did that really make it feel real? Like this is real now?
Yeah, that was like the warm up. And then walking into booking, that was like, oh, there's no going back now. This is it. And that was the moment I was a little nervous because I'm just like, okay, this is it. Like, and you're like your cover story and like, that nobody knows. And like, I was trying to like really feel what it would be like being an inmate. And there's real nervousness there, right? Because you're going in undercover. Like these people are going to essentially not like you because you're violating their safety, right? In regards to like, this is their safe space. This is where they work. They shouldn't have to worry about somebody snitching on them. So, yeah, so like in the beginning episode where you guys see me going in and, getting booked, like that was real nervousness. Like, there was a little bit of tears there because this is the first time I've ever been away from my family for this amount of time. And
Aww.
I'm like, I'm all in. So I'm going to 60 days. That there's not even like a happy medium for me. Like it's all or nothing, right? So thinking about like that was my last moment where I was going to be able to just pick up a phone and call my kids,
Yeah,
right?
and the family and the kids were supportive. They understood what was going on, and
Well, I didn't tell all of them because I have adult children. And I was worried that, like the more people that know, the more likely that people will find out. So my two that live at home now, Liam and Luke, they knew. And actually, Luke is my 11-year-old, and he was telling all his friends that mom went to jail. And I was like, what? Why would you tell everybody I went to jail? He's like, well, you did. And he's like, I didn't tell him you were on the show. I just told him you were in jail. And I was like, that's worse. And I'm like, well, what did you tell him I went to jail for? He goes, I said you had a warrant for an FTA. And I was like, how do you even know what that means?
What? So when did your older kids find out, Scarlett?
When I got back. The ones that don't live with me, I didn't tell them. No, actually, I probably can't talk about it. There was a moment in time during this process where they found out in a very great surprise. I hope they show that. If not, they'll come back after the season is over, and I will tell you what I did.
Yes. You're going to have to tell me about that. Now, when you went to intake, it was very, very interesting because you had piercings.
Oh my gosh.
One of them you had in your belly button, and the other one you have in your woo-ha.
Yeah.
And they did not find it.
They didn't find it. And I just want to do a disclaimer is like anatomy-wise, I think everybody knows the areas that we're talking about, but you know how the magic of editing.
Yeah.
I got it pierced. I know where it's at. But yeah, so I'm tattooed. I gotta put things places, I guess. But yeah, so I have a piercing. And it's funny because I specifically had changed out the piercing to be one of the ones for women for pregnancy that are plastic, that are expandable a little bit. So, because I didn't want it to go through the scanner anyway, because I wanted to check the booking process, right? So, because one of the concerns that the sheriffs were talking about is that how are the drugs getting inside? And so I took a step. They're going in the hoo-ha. They're going in the hoo-ha. So, and it's funny because how it's portrayed in the episode, it seems like there's time for me to answer questions and stuff. But as I'm like getting changed and I'm taking things out, she's like running through the checklist and she really kind of skips over that. She's like, oh, nipples, belly button. I was like, belly button. But, I'm in a room with like 30 other people, mostly men. So I didn't want to yell to her, hey, by the way, I got this piercing. There is some semblance of privacy that you want to maintain. And so, but I was like, okay, well, if she's got me alone or I'm going through a scanner, then it's one-on-one, I can tell her. Okay, so when they put me in the room and they strip search me, they take all my clothes and I'm naked, and they take photos of all of my tattoos when I'm nude. And then she has me bend over, but she doesn't have me squat. She has me bend at the waist, like I'm doing a curtsy.
Okay.
And then she has you cough. And it wasn't, like I already said, I don't even think my butthole winked. Like that was the minimal cough that was there. And that was fine. She was fine with it. I think she was very uncomfortable with that process. She appeared uncomfortable to have to do that to me, which I respect. But it's your job. You got to do it. I mean,
that's
working. Yeah. Because I've worked inpatient mental health, so people will come in and they're suicidal, and I'm watching people shower. I'm watching people shave. It's 1-to-1. Like we're strip searching them. Like when we search them, we'd make them squat and duck walk. Like because you can't hold that stuff in if you're moving your hips. Because we know. The concern is safety, right? When working in inpatient, those people are going to bring in weapons to hurt themselves. So it's really important for us to do our job thoroughly.
Other people, because in my thug life, I used to actually be a thug. Not proud of it, but that's
a beautiful thug.
We had razor blades in our mouths.
Yeah. Oh, right? In your mouth? Yes. And she didn't check. She didn't check my mouth well. She didn't check my hair very well. Like I was really disappointed with the search.
Yeah, and I know that at the end of, usually at the end of 60 days, that you all have an opportunity to speak with the sheriff about, what needs to be improved and all of that.
Yeah.
And it seems like uniformity and across the board, everybody had something to say about intake.
Yeah. And I think, as we get through the season, we get to the opportunity, those things are going to come out. We're obviously, we are paying attention, and you see it right away. Those are something that's a concern. So, you'll hopefully see all of us be able to express that in that period of time. So
okay. So you're in now.
I'm in there.
You get this cot, and now you get ready to go up to your pod. How thin is that damn mattress? Because it looks like a blanket. How thin is it?
It's like a yoga mat. That's all you get is a yoga mat. Like, you could literally put that on the floor and do your stretches. Like, that. There was nothing. Like, you could roll that up. There was nothing to it. It was pretty, and girls get really creative. Like, they're rolling it up, and like I was using my extra clothes, like my thermal. I would roll that up and use that kind of as like a neck pillow. But it's funny because 6 weeks before I did the show, I had neck fusion surgery. So I had 3 discs in my neck repaired and fused together. So I got the clearance to go on the show. And, I'm recovering from this neck surgery. So, so if I did surgery, they're manageable, but it was definitely an uncomfortable situation. And like, honestly, it's funny because, you're wearing those clothes and they have the seams. And because the mattress is so thin, just sleeping on your seams was so, like, I got bruises on the side of my legs.
Are you serious?
Yeah, it's definitely not, I wouldn't recommend.
Did you ever get used to it, or just something you just never get used to?
I think, you get creative enough to make it comfortable.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it looks like when you came in, the girls was feeling you. I mean, it wasn't.
Yeah. Honestly, yeah.
I was shocked. I mean, it was. Now I don't know about Nina, but when you went in, the girls were welcoming. They were helping you, and you befriended very quickly. Was it Kayla?
Kayla. She I miss you.
She took to you. They told you, they kind of helped you with your bed and all that, but nobody told you about don't poop and flush at night.
So this is the thing, because I get conflicting information. Okay, so there was, let me see how many. I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There was 5 women besides me in intake, and one of them was pregnant and had migraines. I think she was also struggling with some drug issue stuff. So she was sleeping the whole time and just miserable, and she wasn't eating or drinking. And I think she was the one that shished me. But I was told actually that you courtesy flush. It don't matter. But that made me paranoid the rest of the time, because I was like, I'm just not going to poop at night.
Right. So we have a question from one of the viewers. Their question is, and I was going to ask you that, but I'll ask now. Buddha and said, question for Scarlett, did you have to wear used gel underwear? Okay, so I refused to wear any of the used. I went commando. It was a commando life for me, because I am not putting anybody else's. Because first of all, I don't know how they're washing those. I don't know how. Vetoed it. No underwear for me. It's just not going to happen. So I did not wear the underwear. I would have went commando too. I'm sorry. You got to do what you got to do, right? I grew up in Montana. I'm a nature girl, so I wouldn't pee out in the woods when I had to. I ain't wearing somebody else's underwear. Not happening. Yeah. And they're brown. Brown and dirty and dingy looking, stretched out. I mean, it barely looked like it had elastic. I was like, oh my God. So did it stink as bad as Nina? Oh, go ahead. You had something to say. I was just going to say, and a lot of the women are coming down from drugs. So they're sweating a lot, and they're having a lot of gastrointestinal issues. And there's no way no. Is there ever a moment of silence in there? Not in intake really. But honestly, in intake, that I had the most amazing moments in intake. Like, I really connected with those women, and I learned their stories, and I shared my story, and like we were encouraging each other, and like
the support there was like drunk girls in the bathroom. That's what it was.
Okay.
It was honestly amazing, but not a lot of quiet. No. Everybody had a lot of things to say.
About going to General Pop?
Actually, I was so focused on the mission that I was ready. Like I was like, okay, so I feel like by the time the 3 days in intake, I started to build rapport with some of the inmates. I kind of started to learn their ways, some of the lingo. I started to learn about the jail because some of those girls are repeat offenders, right? 20, 30, 50 times. So they know the deputies, so they know the way. And they all taught me the way. They taught me about putting pieces of comb in your piercing so you don't get them closed. They taught me about putting soap in a sock for air freshener. They told me about the deodorant, the horrible maximum security deodorant.
I was like, God damn, how many uses do you have for deodorant?
Except being deodorant. Everything, but they were putting it on their like feet to like soften up their heels. I was like, this is mismarketed.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So by the time and actually all the girls I had connected with had already been either released or had transitioned to a general pop. So the newbies were coming in. I didn't have a rapport with them. So I was like, let's go to Gen Pop. Let's get this party started.
Yeah, because it looks like Kayla went into Gen Pop before you did because Kayla already had a room that you were able to come into.
She did. I got really lucky because Kayla went in a couple of days before me. And then I went into the same pod as her. And so when she saw me, she was like, yes, girl, let's be roomies. And she was a lifesaver for me. I think I had such a positive experience because she kind of vetted me in by that point. I had built that relationship in intake. And then going to Gen Pop, I had an inmate who already knew me. Right. So all the other women accepted me. So I was very blessed to have that process. And I can't thank Kayla.
So is Kayla a repeat offender or was this just Kayla first time or?
So Kayla has had a couple issues. I think she was there one time before. She was kind of there on a bogus, situation this time when I was in with her. And but she was really knowledgeable. So she had a little bit more experience, obviously more experience than I have. Yeah.
Okay, she seemed
without giving the details.
Yeah, I know you can't get the details, and our time is about up. We're going to try to obey what they say, but I'm going to ask this damn question.
Okay.
So now Nina came in gagging, making it appear that it stunk real bad. Did it stink real bad?
So jail definitely has a stench to it. It does. I mean, the soaps aren't really soaps. There's really limited access to hygiene products. We're wearing the same clothes for 4 days straight. But I've worked in hospitals and stuff, so I've seen a lot of nasty.
Something, honey. Talking about clothes, Miss Luna told you what size, honey, you were supposed to wear. And
let me tell you.
Please tell me about
I had to argue about sizes by that. And eventually we had to have some discussions about some sizing on some clothing.
Right.
So, you'll see.
Yes.
I was like, why are you trying to make me bigger than I am, girl? This ain't a competition.
Maybe to make her feel better about herself. I don't know. I didn't like it because you're a grown-ass woman. And so if you tell her you want to lunch, why would she say, well, you don't want to actually, is Luna? Okay, I got to sit up straight on this.
Okay, I'm ready.
Is Luna who we think she is and who they are portraying her, or is this editing? Because Luna seems Luna.
This is Luna. This is authentic Luna. They portrayed her as I knew her in that experience. She was very authentic in who and what she was. Yeah, it was a trip. Miss Luna. Now, I'm not, she has some very wonderful qualities, but we had a little bit, you saw in the episode, the most recent one where she's talking her talk, doesn't stop talking her talk. And I just get up and walk away. I just go sit somewhere else because I'm just like, I can't.
Right, because it appeared that now I know that the days go by and stuff like that, but it appeared that you were really just didn't want to hear you kind of sitting in the background. As older women, we're going to fill out our environment.
Right.
really interacting with people and showing people who we were. So I thought that was really wise of you to just kind of sit back and see who the players are, right? Who are the main Luna ass kissers? Who are the ones that don't particularly like Luna? Because Luna appears to me, just my opinion, Luna, damn it, because I know you're going to look. But my opinion is that Luna feels more important inside the jail than she probably ever does outside of the jail. Did you pick up that thing?
So Luna loves being a trustee. I can say that. I think she felt very valuable in the jail. Now, I can't speak as to how her home life is, but she was relishing that opportunity to stand on that pedestal. So we'll have to see how that goes.
You are a wise woman. And I don't like Luna. I didn't like Luna from the beginning when she sat there and said that, you know, her family called her bossy little fingers. I was like, that's exactly who you are. But in the upcoming episode, there appears to be a situation that goes on with Luna asking you for your damn PIN number. I can't.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I ain't giving nobody my PIN number.
Like,
who do you think you are, girl? No.
So it was one more thing that I know we need to wrap this up, but God, we need to go on and on and on. You had a tablet when you came in. Do you automatically get a tablet, or is that something on your books, or how do you get that tablet? Because you was like, I got my tablet, and she was running. How'd you get it?
So you don't have anything. You can't get commissary. You don't get your tablet. You don't get anything while you're in the intake process, where you have to spend like the 3 days while they observe you. So when you transfer into Gen Pop, you get a tablet that you can use. They're very, very limited tablets. You know, you can order your commissary on there. You can make phone calls. You can listen to music. You can buy really, really expensive movies. But if you don't have headphones, your tablet's worthless.
Oh.
Yeah.
So do they allow you all to put money on the books before you go in? And they make
so
that this is coming from family?
So I actually went in, I was smart, and I went in with cash on hand. So I automatically had stuff on my books.
What do you mean?
So like when I got arrested, I had cash in my pocket. So when you go into booking, they take all your personal effects. And if you have cash, they automatically put it on your books. So I went in with money on my books so that I could pay for phone calls and stuff.
Oh, really? So did they tell you that, or someone else told you that? You researched it?
Oh, I did a lot of research. Yeah, I did a lot of research.
I forgot.
I was prepared.
Okay.
Yeah, so I knew I was going in with stuff. Plus, you know, I work probation, so I was visiting people in the jails and stuff. So you learn about the ins and outs a little bit, but yeah, I made sure I always have cash on hand. So that was like a legitimate thing. So I think I was smart enough to come in with money on hand. So I was able to get money on my books pretty quickly. It took a day or two. So I was able to make phone calls. That's how you can see that I was making phone calls in the intake process. But yeah, so then it's just family and friends. You know, if my family sent me money, then I had money on my books.
So how did you feel about the chick that went off?
The one where that they restrained? So this is such a tough. The one that they restrained, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, was it you? Yeah. Was it you being on the telephone? It appeared that it was you being on the telephone, the noise or the conversation that triggered her. Is that what really happened?
No.
Like this went crazy.
So I was on the phone. She was next to me on the phone, screaming what she wanted to do to herself. You know, just screaming on the phone to the person on the phone. Like she was. So actually, like I got off because I knew there was no way that the deputy could not respond to her behavior, because she was being self-harmful and making threats and being aggressive on the phone. So I get off the phone.
We didn't see that.
Yeah, you don't see that. But then, so I'm sitting, and, you know, it's during our rec time, which is really limited. You only get like 4 hours the whole day. And, you know, I'm sitting there, and then the deputy handled it really, really well. Like, you don't get to see a lot of the specifics about that, but the deputy puts us all in, racks us all in. And then as we're racking, she goes and gets the woman that was already making threats and being aggressive and hostile. And she brings her down and have a conversation with her. And that conversation wasn't going really well. And so the deputy called her supervisor in, the sergeant, and then the sergeant is having a conversation with her. And they're telling her the process and the explanations and the rules. And, it's really tough, too, because I'm going in and there's questions because there's cameras everywhere and people are wondering, and one of the girls in the intake was like, she told me, she's like, I really thought you were like on a show. Like, I thought you were undercover. She's like, I thought you were a cop. She's like, she's a cop. She's a cop. But this is after I had built that trust. And they were like, they vetted me in. Like, they could tell I was real. I was a real inmate. And they were like, yeah, we thought at first, like, you were coming in. Like, you're part of this, whatever this is. And I was like, nope. So I'm being an inmate, right? I'm being, insensitive to the situation. I'm, kind of talking a little smack. I'm giggling with the girls about it because I feel like that's kind of what they were all doing too. You see what I'm saying, but you don't really see what the other ones are saying. But it was tough because they were very, very clear and respectful with her. They gave her clear instructions. They told her the process and explanation. And she just kept yelling and getting aggressive and making threats towards them. And she threatened the deputy. So they had to restrain her. So it seems really excessive, but when you're in that situation where your adrenaline is pumping, that strength is amazing. We have that woman's strength where we can lift a car with our kids underneath it. So she was not going to go in that suit. And it looks really bad. But I mean, the deputy even got kicked, right? So like trying to restrain this woman was really tough. Did it seem like it looked excessive? Yeah,
No,
probably.
it did not look excessive at all. Beat her ass.
Okay. Well, honestly, like even if she's struggling with mental health, right? They handled it the best way that they could. They gave her clear instructions. They were empathetic. They allowed her to communicate and talk and express herself. And then when she continued, they have to maintain safety. So they maintain safety.
And safety for her too, because when you're making those kind of threats and stuff like that, they have to make sure that you're safe, right?
Right.
So,
right.
I mean,
I think they handled it perfectly in regards to what they had to do. And, it took some time. It was like they were talking to her. They were trying to redirect her to get her calmed down. And she kept, getting more loud and getting more assaultive and, making the body motions. And so they had to do what they had to do. But I think they handled it well. I'll give them credit for that. Honestly, those girls were great.
I thought so too. I didn't see anything wrong with it.
Yeah.
I thought that, the guard handled it. She was very calm and peaceful. She didn't engage with her. So we're going to wrap this up because we're going to be open here. But I asked you, give me a quote or a motto based on what you experienced without giving anything, right?
Yeah.
You chose observe, but don't absorb. What did you mean by that?
So that's like my mantra that I use in my professional setting because it's really easy to get into that game, to become an inmate, right? To get into the cattiness, to get into the drama, to feel for these women who are struggling with trauma and addiction and like it can suck you in and break you down. So my job wasn't to become an inmate. My job was to observe and report. Yeah. So that was like, all of this chaos can be going on externally, but as long as you're not absorbing, as long as you're protecting your balance, then you're not absorbing that into yourself. And it's not gonna, like, for example, Corey, you see, he's struggling. He's really feeling those feelings. He is absorbing. He's absorbing all of the tensions and the trauma. Yeah. And so my job was to observe. I was able to keep a level head. I was able to assess what I needed to assess and maintain my safety and the safety of others. And I didn't absorb all that. So like when I left, I was able to come back and be healthy for my family and not live that, inmate life on the outside, right? Because I mean, we're in there for a long time. You assimilate.
When you sent that to me, I was like, God, I can't wait to find out what it is she really means by observe, but don't
Yeah.
absorb it. That is
Yeah.
phenomenal. Now that I understand what you meant.
Yeah, because she was like, "What? What? This is not good." Yeah, but
No,
in
it
my
makes perfect sense.
yeah, yeah, because in my line of work, behavioral health, burnout's like 3 to 5 years, right? Because it's really easy to absorb the pain of the people you're helping. So, and in life in general, imagine if you have interactions with people who are difficult and you observe that behavior and you realize it's not about you, it's about them, and you just stay calm and rational and you don't absorb that, right? Somebody's yelling at you because they had a bad day. Well, if you don't absorb that, then you can respond to them calmly and rationally, and you're not going to get emotionally attached by that. So that's really kind of how I handled my situation. And
That was
that's part
great.
of that resiliency. Yeah.
That
It
was
works for
great.
me, girl.
And I really would love to have you back to talk about
Yeah.
DV. I am a DV victor. I've been through that in my life, and we both have that in common. So I automatically click with you.
Click. Yeah.
I'd love to, have you come out and talk about that, and just using that as something that although you're a victor from it, was something you could tap in to be authentic,
Yeah.
because this is something that you've experienced, and I would love for you to share, how
Yeah.
you were able to use that in the prison to help other women, because I'm sure
Yeah.
we are in a different class, right? Women who have survived it and have lived to
Right.
tell our stories, right? And have come out as victors. And that gives us almost like a superpower, in my opinion, to help
Yeah.
other women, right? Because there's so much that you have to go through and process through your self-esteem, your self-worth, not blaming yourself,
Right.
not allowing it to hold you back. So I really want to have you back to share about that and how you incorporated that into
Yeah.
days in. Like, I'm so interested in seeing how you do it, because that was your story in there. You know
Yeah,
what I
well,
mean?
can we not say that I have the best cover story? I mean, is it not the best cover story? I mean, I only put on t-shirts. It's not like I did it on purpose. I just didn't stop.
But I'm telling you, I
But
connected to you instantly, and there's something
okay.
about AB. But there's now, after episode 3, I think we're at 3, right? After episode
Yeah.
3, I'm starting to see past Nina's BS.
Yeah.
This
There's a
stuff
lot to
that,
me.
yeah, she
Yeah.
has layers
Yeah.
to her, and I'm starting to
Yeah.
see past it. I'm going to probably try to do my review tomorrow, because I just really wanted to, do this interview with you
Yeah.
tonight. But I'm starting to see past Nina's BS.
Yeah. And I mean, you gotta love Nina for being her beautiful,
Yeah.
authentic self. She's bringing the sass, the comic relief. She's having fun, even though it's like a horrible situation, right? But just like,
Until she got
I
her
stay
butt in there.
positive.
Nina
We'll
checked
see what
her
happens.
and got in there.
She's got to get in there. We'll see how she does. Yeah, because I don't get to see her in intake. So,
But you get to see her when she comes in and stuff like that.
the women pods are smaller, so we all have some interactions with each other. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so what are you all in? You're in the cell 20 hours and out for 4?
Yeah, so we're in the cell for 20 hours, and it's a two-man cell if you have a roommate, and then you get 4 hours total of rec time. So you get, I think it's, oh man, I had this schedule perfect. So you get an hour in the morning, and then you get, I think it's split up. It's like an hour and a half, an hour and a half. You know how they work it out, but yeah, like it's very limited. And that's when you have to shower, make your phone calls. Sometimes, handle your concert.
Showering. We didn't even talk about the showering and pooping in the open area. We didn't even get a chance, so you've got to come back.
I gotta come back. There's so much to talk about.
Yes, it is. There's so many
Yes.
layers to this, right?
There's so much. And this is real. Everybody questions it, but it's real. Like, you are an inmate. Everybody knows you're an inmate. This is how you don't get special treatment. This is like, you're an inmate and that's it. You don't get, like, we were there 24 hours for a really, really, really long time. There's no breaks. Yeah, it was real.
You make it to the end. I am rooting for you.
Thank you,
Hopefully,
honey.
advice. I am hoping that you make it all the way through
Well,
until the end.
if I don't, you can come to Hawaii and smack me.
I'm sorry. Say it again.
I said, if I don't make it, you can come to Hawaii and smack me.
You damn right. I would take that. What is that? 18-hour flight, I think it is. How many hours is that?
Probably, yes. Well, I'm coming from Florida, and actually, they have direct flights from certain places. I think it's like 9 hours from the East Coast direct. 9 to 11 direct flight. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I wish you the luck in your move this coming Monday. You and your family. Be safe, unpack, lay back, enjoy, and then I'm going to be right back in contact with you again.
Yes, that'll be great. I can't wait. I'm looking forward to it.
Yes, I am. Thank you so much for being here, Nina. I mean, not Nina, damn it.
Yeah.
Scarlett. And see,
You're forgetting my name already.
and that's because I was just talking about that damn Nina. Because I'm going to be interviewing her as well. I can't wait to get her on the platform because I just really see, past the BS. But like I said, I attach to you just like that. Just like that. So
Well, I love the support. Thank you so much.
thank you. We'll talk soon.
Have a wonderful evening. Yes, sounds good.
Everybody say bye to Scarlett. So hold off in the back room. I'll come right back.
Okay.
So you all, thank you so much for being here. I'm hoping that you all enjoyed this interview. I'm looking forward to interviewing the rest of the cast of 60 Days In. So you all stay tuned. Make sure your notification bell's on. If you have not already done so, subscribe. And when you hit that subscribe button, turn your notification bells on to all. Once you've done that, your bell's going to turn, I believe it's gray. Okay. So thank you all so much for being here. You all root for these people because this is real freaking life. Okay, thank you so much, Ray Della, for moderating the chat and making sure that everybody had an opportunity to chat and say, in a safe space. And to all of you all on the replay, thank you so much for being here. Until we meet again, you all be safe out there in those streets and in the water. Bye, y'all.